Have you ever noticed that betrayal never comes from a stranger? It is not the enemy who wounds you the deepest. It is the friend you trusted, the partner you loved, the family member you opened your heart to. Betrayal hides behind smiles, behind promises, behind history. It does not always begin with something obvious. It starts small. A lie here, a broken promise there, a boundary crossed. You excuse it. You give them another chance. But over time the pattern becomes clear, and once you see it, you cannot unsee it. This video is not about bitterness. It is not about holding grudges. It is about clarity, about strength, about refusing to excuse what should never be tolerated. The Stoics believed that adversity is the fire that forges clarity. They believed that how we respond to betrayal defines who we are. Epictetus once said, "It is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." That reaction begins with recognition. You need to understand one truth. Forgiveness without wisdom is not noble. It is dangerous. Because when you forgive the wrong person, you teach them that they can harm you again. Some betrayals are not mistakes, they are decisions. And decisions reveal character. Today we are going to talk about 7 betrayals that you must never forgive, not because you are weak, but because you are finally strong enough to stop accepting less than you deserve. We are not here to vent, we are here to grow. And growth begins with truth. So let me be clear. If someone lies to you, disrespects your boundaries, mocks your pain, abandons you in crisis, talks behind your back, manipulates you, or breaks your trust repeatedly, that is not love. That is not loyalty. That is betrayal. And the Stoics would tell you to let it go. Not with hatred, but with strength. You are not here to fix people who choose to harm you. You are here to protect your peace, honor your worth, and walk forward with clarity. By the end of this video, you will know exactly what to look for. And more importantly, you will know how to respond. Stay with me. It starts now. Betrayal 1. Repeated lies. Trust is not given. It is earned. Slowly, over time, through consistency, honesty, and integrity. But once that trust is broken, especially by repeated lies, the damage runs deep. A single lie can cause doubt. But when someone lies to you over and over, it is not just hurtful. It is destructive. And more than anything, it reveals who they truly are. Lies do not always start big. Sometimes they come in whispers, small untruths, convenient omissions, things they think you will not notice. You catch them once, and they apologize. You catch them again, and they say it will not happen again. But it does. And every time you forgive, the lie becomes easier for them, and harder for you to ignore. The danger is not just in the lie itself. It is in what it creates. Doubt, suspicion, anxiety. Suddenly you find yourself second-guessing everything. Are they being honest now? Were they ever honest? You start replaying conversations, looking for signs, trying to find solid ground in a relationship that now feels like quicksand. This is not love. This is survival. And survival is not a foundation for any healthy connection. Let me be clear. A person who lies repeatedly is not making mistakes. They are making choices. And those choices are a reflection of character. They lie because it benefits them, because it protects their image, because they believe you will forgive them again, and again, and again. The Stoics were not tolerant of deception. Epictetus once said, "The truth is simple. Lies require a web of deception. The truth stands on its own. It needs no defense, no cover. But a lie demands more lies to survive, and over time it collapses under its own weight, taking the relationship with it." Daniel was a man who loved deeply. His partner, however, lied about everything. At first he told himself it was nothing, just little things. Then came the bigger lies, where she was, who she was with, how she spent money. Every time she had a reason. "I did not want to hurt you. It is not what you think." But the pattern never changed. No matter how many times he forgave her, she continued. Until one day, Daniel realized the truth. She was never sorry. Just sorry she got caught. Forgiving a lie once may be wise, but forgiving repeated lies is a betrayal of your own values. If someone lies to you more than once, you are not just being lied to. You are being tested. And every time you let it go, you teach them that honesty is optional. that your boundaries are flexible, that they can continue. So how do you respond? First, stop making excuses for their behavior. Second, observe their actions, not their words. And finally, do not tolerate repeated dishonesty. Walk away. Because when trust is gone, love has nothing left to stand on. Never forgive someone who treats truth like a tool. They do not deserve access to your loyalty. And once the lies fade, another truth emerges. That betrayal often shows up again, this time through something more subtle. The disrespect of your boundaries. Betrayal 2. Disrespecting your boundaries. Boundaries are not walls. They are lines drawn with clarity and respect. They exist to protect your peace, your dignity, and your values. When someone repeatedly crosses those lines after you have made them clear, they are not misunderstanding you. They are disrespecting you. At first, it might seem harmless. They tease you about something you ask them to stop. They show up uninvited, push you into conversations you are not ready to have, or dismiss your needs as unimportant. And each time you tell yourself it is not a big deal. You do not want to make it awkward. You try to stay understanding. But the truth is this. Disrespect once tolerated only grows. A person who sees that your no does not mean no will test it again and again. What starts as small discomfort becomes emotional exhaustion. You feel like you are constantly defending your space, your time, your feelings. And no relationship should require you to fight for basic respect. This is not sensitivity, it is self-awareness. When someone dismisses your limits, they are not challenging you. They are showing you exactly how little they value what matters to you. The Stoics taught that respect begins from within. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "He who does not respect himself will not be respected by others." If you continue to allow someone to violate your boundaries, you are silently telling them it is acceptable, and people will always rise or fall to the standard you set for yourself. Let me tell you about Lisa. She was in a long-term relationship with someone who constantly ignored her needs. When she said she needed space during stressful times, he pushed harder. When she asked him not to go through her phone, he justified it by saying he cared. When she voiced her discomfort, he accused her of being cold and distant. Over time, she began to doubt herself. Maybe I am overreacting, she thought. But the truth was simple. He was not unaware of her boundaries. He just did not care. One day, she stopped explaining, she stopped justifying, and she walked away, not out of anger, but out of anger, because she finally understood that a person who does not honor your boundaries cannot love you in a way that honors who you are. So what should you do? First, make your boundaries clear. Say them without guilt, without apology. Second, pay attention to repeated violations. A mistake happens once. A pattern is a choice. And finally, if someone consistently crosses the line, walk away. Not to punish them, but to protect yourself. A healthy relationship does not require you to shrink, to stay silent, or to compromise your sense of safety. Never forgive someone who treats your limits like suggestions, because someone who refuses to respect your boundaries does not truly respect you. Betrayal 3. Breaking trust. Trust is not a gift. It is a bond built with time, truth, and action. When someone breaks that trust, especially when they know it will hurt you, it is not just a mistake. It is a betrayal of something sacred. And the damage it causes is deeper than most wounds, because it changes the way you see the person and the relationship forever. You might tell yourself it was a one-time thing, that they slipped up, that they were under pressure. But once that bond is broken, nothing feels safe anymore. You start questioning everything. Are they being honest now? Were they ever honest? You begin to second-guess your instincts, doubt your memories, and lose confidence in your judgment. That is what betrayal does. It does not just break your trust in them. It shakes your trust in yourself. The worst part is that the person who betrayed you often wants to move on quickly. They want to say they are sorry, offer promises, and pretend like everything can go back to the way it was. But it cannot. Because once trust is broken, something fundamental is lost. And no apology can bring back the feeling of safety you once had. Seneca once said, "Confidence in another is destroyed the moment deceit is detected." The moment you catch someone hiding the truth, something inside you shifts. It does not matter how long you have known them. It does not matter what they say afterward. That single act of betrayal rewrites the story of your connection. Let me share a story about Jake. He was engaged to someone he trusted completely. They shared everything. Or so he thought. Until one day he discovered she had been hiding conversations with someone from her past. At first she denied it. Then she minimized it. Eventually she admitted it but claimed it was harmless. Jake wanted to believe her. He wanted to forgive. But he could not forget. Every interaction after that moment felt different. The warmth was gone. The certainty was gone. And in its place was a quiet pain that refused to leave. Over time he realized something. He was no longer building a future. He was managing damage. And that is not what trust looks like. So what should you do when someone breaks your trust? First, stop trying to fix what they broke. It is not your job to rebuild what they chose to destroy. Second, observe their behavior. Do not listen to their promises. Watch their consistency. Words can lie. Patterns do not. And finally, accept that some damage cannot be repaired. You are allowed to walk away, even if you love them deeply. Trust is not just a feeling. It is a structure. If someone tears it down, they show you how little they value it. Never forgive someone who breaks your trust and expects you to pretend it never happened, because pretending is not healing. And trust once lost is rarely ever found again. Betrayal 4. Mocking your vulnerabilities. Vulnerability is a gift. It is not weakness. It is courage. When you open up to someone about your fears, your insecurities, or your deepest struggles, you are offering them trust. You are letting them see a part of you that you protect from the world. And when someone takes that gift and turns it into a weapon, that is betrayal at its most personal level. It may not start with cruelty. It may begin as teasing, a joke about your past, a laugh at something you told them in confidence. You tell yourself they did not mean it. You try to brush it off. But inside, something sinks, because you know what you shared was real. And now it has been made small. True connection comes from mutual respect. When someone mocks your vulnerability, they are not connecting. They are controlling. They are using your honesty to elevate themselves, to gain power in the moment. And in doing so, they are showing you that your pain is not safe with them. The Stoics understood dignity. Epictetus said, "The man who laughs at your wounds does not deserve a place in your life." Those words are simple, but they carry truth. If someone mocks what hurts you, they are not your friend. They are your lesson. Emma learned this lesson the hard way. She had struggled with anxiety for years. In private, she had opened up to a close friend about her fear of public speaking and her history of panic attacks. At first, he seemed supportive, but later, in group settings, he would joke about it. "Do not ask Emma to talk. She might faint." People laughed. Emma smiled too, but inside she felt exposed and humiliated. Eventually she realized this was not support. It was betrayal wrapped in humor, and the pain it caused stayed long after the laughter faded. That friend had taken something sacred and turned it into entertainment. So how do you respond to someone who mocks your vulnerability? First, trust your feelings. If something they say makes you feel small, it is not a joke. It is a sign. Second, confront it once. Tell them it is not okay. If they respect you, they will listen. If they dismiss it, they never respected you to begin with. And third, protect yourself. Remove access. Do not share your heart with those who turn it into a punchline. Real friends lift you up. They do not knock you down to get a laugh. Real partners hold your fears with care. They do not use them against you when it is convenient. And real love sees your scars and respects them. Never forgive someone who mocks your pain, because someone who laughs at your wounds will never be the one to help you heal. Betrayal 5. Abandoning you in difficult times. It is easy to stand beside someone when life is good. When everything is smooth, fun, and full of joy, most people will stay. But the real test of a relationship comes when things fall apart. When you are hurting, struggling, or facing crisis, who shows up? Who stays when there is nothing to gain? That is where true loyalty is revealed. Being abandoned in your time of need is one of the deepest betrayals. It sends a message that your pain is too inconvenient, that your struggle is not worth their time. that the bond you thought you had only existed when it was easy for them. And once things got difficult, they disappeared. Sometimes they vanish quietly. Calls go unanswered, messages ignored, excuses made. Other times they leave directly. "I cannot handle this. You are too much right now." And in either case, the damage is the same. They were not there when you needed them most. The Stoics understood the truth of hardship. Seneca said, "Adversity does not build character. It reveals it. It reveals the depth of your own strength. But it also reveals the true nature of the people around you. People who love you in comfort but leave you in crisis do not truly love you. They love the benefits, not the bond." Let me tell you about Jake. He had been in a long-term relationship with someone who seemed perfect, supportive, kind, present. But when Jake lost his job and went through a long period of depression, everything changed. She became distant, cold, uninterested. She stopped asking how he was doing. She avoided emotional conversations. Eventually, she said, "I cannot deal with this," and walked away. Jake realized then that her love had conditions. It was not based on who he was, but on what he could provide. As long as he was strong, successful, and happy, she stayed. But the moment he needed support, she left. That is not love. That is convenience. So how do you respond when someone abandons you in hard times? First, accept the truth. Absence is a decision. If they chose to leave when you were struggling, they never intended to stay long-term. Second, do not chase after them when they return. When things get better, they may try to come back. But remember who they were when you needed them. And third, cherish those who stood by you. The ones who answered the call, who listened, who stayed even when they had no answers. Pain reveals loyalty. It strips away pretense and shows you who is real. Never forgive someone who abandons you in your worst moments, because the next time life gets hard, they will do it again. Loyalty is not proven in the sunshine, it is proven in the storm. Betrayal 6. Speaking ill behind your back. Loyalty is not just about how someone treats you in person. It is about how they speak of you when you are not around. What someone says behind your back reveals more about their character than anything they say to your face. When someone speaks ill of you in private while pretending to support you in public, that is not a misunderstanding. That is betrayal. This kind of betrayal often hides behind charm. To your face, they smile. They listen. They pretend to care. But behind closed doors, they twist your words, mock your choices, or reveal your secrets. At first, you may not know, but eventually the whispers reach you. The truth comes out. And when it does, it cuts deeper than any open conflict ever could. People who gossip about you are not harmless. They are not simply venting. They are poisoning your reputation, your relationships, and your sense of security. And the most dangerous part is that they often pretend to be your friend while they do it. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The tongue of a traitor is sharper than any dagger." That is not poetry. That is reality. Words may seem light, but they leave lasting damage. They create doubt, spread mistrust, and turn people against you before you ever get a chance to speak for yourself. Let me tell you about Rachel. She had a best friend she trusted with everything. They shared secrets, dreams, and struggles. But over time, Rachel began hearing strange things from other people. Comments she had only made in private were being repeated. Stories were twisted. Her confidence was shaken. She did not want to believe it. But one night, at a gathering, she overheard her best friend laughing at one of her personal fears in front of others. That was the moment everything changed. Rachel realized this person was never truly on her side. They were collecting her weaknesses and turning them into stories for their own gain. What hurt most was not the gossip. It was the betrayal of someone she once trusted with her truth. So how do you handle someone who speaks behind your back? First, believe the pattern. If more than one person tells you the same story, it is not a rumor. It is a reflection of someone's choices. Second, do not confront them with emotion. They will deny, deflect, and twist the situation to make you look unstable. And finally, remove them from your life quietly and completely. Once someone betrays your trust with their words, they will likely do worse with their actions. You deserve friends who defend you when you are not around, who protect your name as if it were their own. Never forgive someone who tarnishes your reputation for entertainment or approval. Because once they speak against you in private, it is only a matter of time before they act against you in public. But words are not the only weapon. Some betrayals are more silent, more calculated, like manipulation. Betrayal 7, manipulating you for their gain. Manipulation is not a misunderstanding. It is not a mistake. It is a strategy. A manipulator studies you. They learn your fears, your hopes, your triggers. Then they use them, not to help you, not to understand you, but to control you, to bend your decisions in their favor. That is not love. That is not friendship. That is betrayal in its most calculated form. At first, it may not even feel like manipulation. It can look like concern, like support, like love. But pay attention. Do they make you feel guilty for saying no? Do they twist your words until you start questioning your memory? Do they always become the victim when you confront them? These are not accidents. They are tactics. Manipulators thrive in silence. They rely on your kindness, your patience, your empathy. They know you want to be fair, that you want to understand. So they use that against you, slowly, subtly. And before you realize it, you are making decisions out of fear instead of freedom. The Stoics believed that freedom comes from clarity. Epictetus said, "The wise man does not allow himself to be a pawn in another's game." When someone manipulates you, they do not see you as an equal. They see you as a piece on their board, something to move, something to use. And they will keep playing as long as you stay unaware. Let me tell you about Alex. He was always there for his friend Mark. Whenever Mark needed something, Alex showed up. Whether it was money, time, or emotional support, he gave it. And every time, Mark knew exactly what to say. "I thought you were my only real friend. You are the only one I can count on." It worked. Until one day, Alex needed help. He reached out, and Mark disappeared. That is when Alex saw the truth. Mark's friendship was never about connection. It was about control. As long as Alex was giving, Mark stayed close. But the moment Alex needed something back, the friendship ended. So what do you do when you realize someone is manipulating you? First, recognize the pattern. If someone only reaches out when they need something, you are being used. Second, stop explaining yourself. Manipulators feed off your defensiveness. The more you justify, the more they twist. Third, set a firm boundary. Say no without guilt. Watch how they react. If they lash out, it proves everything. Manipulation is not always loud. Often it is quiet, gentle, but deeply corrosive. It wears down your confidence. It rewrites your self-worth. Never forgive someone who uses your kindness as a weapon, because the longer you allow it, the harder it becomes to find yourself again. Respect is mutual. Real relationships are based on equality, not control, not guilt, not fear. Walk away from anyone who sees you as a tool, because you are not here to be used. You are here to live with clarity, strength, and peace. Conclusion. Betrayal is not always loud. Sometimes it whispers. It hides behind smiles, behind sweet words, behind long histories. But whether it comes in silence or chaos, betrayal has one goal: to break your trust, to shake your foundation, to make you doubt what you once believed was real. You have now seen 7 betrayals that should never be forgiven. Not because you are bitter, but because you are awake. Repeated lies, disrespected boundaries, broken trust, mocking your pain, abandonment in hard times, gossip behind your back, and manipulation for personal gain. Each of these reveals something essential, that the person doing it does not value your worth. The Stoics were not naive. They knew that human relationships could be flawed, but they never told us to be passive. They told us to see clearly, to judge wisely, to act with strength. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." If you continue to tolerate betrayal, your life will be colored by doubt, resentment, and fear. Forgiveness is a beautiful act, but without wisdom it becomes permission. When you forgive someone who has not changed, you invite them to do it again and again. That is not mercy. That is self-neglect. You are not responsible for fixing people who keep choosing to harm you. So what do you do now? You decide. You take ownership of your peace. You protect your space. You raise your standards. And when someone violates your trust, you walk away without apology. Because strength is not about holding on, it is about knowing when to let go. You do not need to shout. You do not need revenge. What you need is clarity, detachment, discipline. That is Stoic power. You rise by refusing to stay where your soul is being slowly eroded. And if you are still holding on to someone who has shown you these signs, ask yourself one question. Why? Why protect the bond that has already been broken? Why carry pain that is not yours to fix? You deserve peace. You deserve honesty. You deserve respect. Not sometimes. Not only when it is easy. Always. If this message spoke to you, do not keep it to yourself. Like this video. Subscribe for more insights rooted in Stoic strength. And most importantly, leave a comment. Share which betrayal you have experienced and how you handled it. Your story may be the lesson someone else needs to hear today. This is more than content. This is a reminder, a call to clarity, a return to self-respect. Betrayal may hurt, but it can also wake you up. And once you see clearly, you never go back to what blinded you. Walk forward with strength. Walk forward with peace. And never again let betrayal find comfort in your presence. Because betrayal does not come from enemies. It comes from those we once trusted. And now you know how to walk away.